The desert sun burned like a white coin in the sky, its heat sitting heavy on the rust-colored sand. The wind moved in slow breaths, lifting small clouds of dust that sparkled in the daylight. On this harsh alien world, nothing was gentle, not the heat, not the storms, and definitely not the aliens who lived here. In the middle of the open desert stood a young human girl named Arya, no older than 10. She had long, pale blonde hair, sand-dusted cheeks, and bright blue eyes that showed fear even before she understood why she was afraid. She was small, thin, and fragile. Her skin was sunburned, her clothes worn, and worst of all, she had no hands. Where her hands should have been were smooth, healed stumps wrapped in cloth. The injury wasn't new. It was part of her life now. Yet every day, she still felt the sting of it. And every day, the aliens reminded her. A group of 4 aliens stood a few steps away, laughing loudly. Their voices were high and sharp, like metal scraping glass. They were tall and slender, with purple-silver skin and large dark eyes that reflected everything but warmth. Their armor glowed faintly gold in the sun. One alien pointed at Arya with a long, thin finger. "Look," he shouted. "The no-hands freak is watching us again." The others burst into laughter, clutching their sides as if the joke was the funniest thing in the world. Arya took a step back, her shoulders curling inward. She wanted to hide her arms behind her, but she couldn't. There was nowhere to hide. The desert had no shadows to protect her. Another alien bent forward, mocking her by placing his own hands behind his back. "How do you eat, freak?" he sneered. "Do you roll in the sand? Do humans feed you like a pet?" Arya's chest tightened. She didn't cry, not anymore. She had learned long ago that tears only made the mocker harder. Instead, she stared at the ground, trying to make herself invisible. But then one alien pushed her. Arya fell to her knees, sand scraping her skin. The aliens laughed again, their sharp voices echoing across the empty desert. This was their favorite game, humiliation. And Arya had no way to defend herself. She whispered softly, "Please stop." But they didn't hear. Or maybe they just didn't care. Behind her, heavy footsteps thudded across the sand. Slow, strong, controlled. The alien stopped laughing. A deep voice, solid as stone, spoke from behind Arya. "That's enough." Arya turned and looked up at the man who stepped between her and the aliens. He was a human soldier named Dane, tall and powerful, with bronze skin and a body shaped by years of survival. His armor was scratched and dusty, but he wore it with pride. His expression was tight, cold, and dangerous. The lead alien took a step back. "This is not your concern, human." "It is now," Dane growled. He placed a hand on Arya's shoulder. "Are you hurt?" Arya shook her head, though her knees throbbed. "I'm okay." "You're not," he said gently. "But you will be." The aliens looked annoyed. One crossed his thin arms. "She has no hands. That is simply a fact. Are humans not allowed to state facts?" Dane's jaw clenched. "You didn't state facts. You mocked a child." "She is weak," the alien replied flatly. "A human with no hands. What is she good for?" Dane stepped forward slightly, his eyes darkening. "More than any of you." The alien stiffened. Their pride was fragile, and they hated being challenged. The lead alien hissed, "What will you do? Fight us?" "I don't need to fight you," Dane said. "Not for this." He lifted Arya into his arms with surprising gentleness. She pressed her face into his chest, her body trembling. As he walked away with her, the aliens shouted behind him, "Run, human! Protect the no-hands freak. Maybe you can build her new hands. Look at her. She is useless." Their laughter followed him across the desert. Arya squeezed her eyes shut. Dane's voice rumbled softly, "Don't listen to them." "I try," Arya whispered. "But they're right. I can't do anything. I can't even hold something." Dane slowed his steps. "Arya, listen to me. What they say about you doesn't matter. What you think about yourself does." She didn't answer. He knelt and gently set her on a flat rock near the shade of a broken ship hull. Dane's small workshop. Metal pieces were scattered everywhere, wires, tools, and glowing screens. Arya looked around, confused. Why are we here? Dane gave her a slow, serious smile, a smile that meant something big was about to happen. You asked me last week, he said, if humans could make anything. Arya nodded slowly. Well, Dane continued, turning to the metal table beside him. Today, I'm going to show you the truth. He pulled back a cloth. Arya gasped. Laid neatly on the table were two golden mechanical arms. Beautiful, detailed, shining in the sunlight like treasure. Made for her. Dane crouched beside her and whispered, They mocked you as a no-hands freak. Now it's time to silence them. Arya stared at the arms, her heart racing, for the first time in her life. She felt hope. The metal arms on the table glowed softly under the desert sun, their golden surfaces reflecting warm light across the entire workshop. Arya stared at them without blinking. She felt as if she were looking at something impossible, something too beautiful and too powerful to belong to her. Dane watched her face closely. Every small breath she took, every tiny reaction. He knew this moment mattered more than anything he had done in months. Are they really for me? Arya whispered. Yes, Dane answered. I built them for you. Every wire, every joint, every small part. Arya's lips trembled. But why? I'm broken. Dane knelt beside her again, shaking his head. No, you were hurt. That's different from being broken. She lowered her eyes, unsure how to respond. Dane gently lifted her chin with 2 fingers. Arya, listen. Your past was painful, but it doesn't decide your future. You can still become someone strong, someone amazing. Her heartbeat quickened. She wanted to believe him. She truly did. Dane stood up and tapped the metal arms lightly. These are not just tools. They are a second chance. Arya's eyes widened. Will they work? I mean, really work? Yes, Dane said, but the process won't be easy. It may hurt. It may feel strange. And after that, you'll need training. A lot of it. Arya swallowed, fear mixing with excitement. I'm not afraid. Dane smiled. Good, because you're going to need courage. Before attaching the arms, Dane brought Arya inside the shaded part of the broken ship hull. The air inside was cooler, filled with quiet humming sounds from old machines he had repaired over the years. He set her gently onto a padded chair. First, he said, picking up a small device, I need to scan your nerves. Arya held her breath as the device buzzed softly around the ends of her arms. A glowing blue light ran across her skin, and she felt a strange tingling sensation. Does it hurt? Dane asked. No, just feels like tiny bugs walking on me. That means it's working. When the scan finished, Dane checked the results on a cracked tablet screen. He nodded slowly. Your nerve endings are strong, he said. That's good news. The arms will respond to your thoughts faster. Arya blinked. They respond to my thoughts. Yes, not like magic, more like signals. When you think about lifting something, the nerves send messages. The mechanical arms follow those messages. Arya looked at the arms again with renewed wonder. So they become part of me? Dane's voice softened. Exactly. He carefully attached the saw connectors to her skin, small, flexible pads that looked like tiny silver petals. They wrapped gently around her arm stumps, glowing faint blue as they activated. Arya gasped as warmth spread through her arms. It feels alive. Dane nodded. They're syncing with your nerves. Next, he lifted the first mechanical arm. It looked heavy, but he handled it as if it weighed almost nothing. With practiced care, he slid the arm onto the connector. It clicked softly. A small spark flashed. The arm lit up from shoulder to fingertips. Arya's breath caught. She had an arm, a golden arm. Dane attached the second one. Another click, another flash. And then Arya had 2 arms, shining, glowing, beautiful. Her mouth fell open. She didn't speak. She didn't move. She only stared, overwhelmed. Try moving a finger, Dane said quietly. Arya closed her eyes. She imagined a finger bending. A soft whirring sound filled the air. She opened her eyes. One golden finger slowly curled. She gasped loudly, her whole body shaking with excitement. "I did it," she cried. "I really did it." Dane laughed warmly. "Yes, you did." Arya immediately tried again. She moved another finger, then all of them, then her wrist, then her whole hand. Each movement was slow but smooth, glowing softly with every motion. "This is amazing," she whispered. "It will get easier with practice." Dane said, "Soon, you'll move them as naturally as you used to move your real hands." Arya nodded quickly. She couldn't stop smiling. For the first time in a long time, she felt alive. Oh, possible. But the moment didn't last long. Outside, a loud horn blasted through the desert, a signal used only by alien patrols. Arya froze. Dane's face hardened instantly. "They're coming!" Another horn. Louder. Closer. Arya swallowed. "It's them, isn't it? The ones who mocked me." "Maybe," Dane muttered. "But this time, things are different." A shadow passed over the workshop entrance. The same group of aliens appeared. Their tall forms blocked the sunlight as they slowly stepped inside. The lead alien smirked. "We heard noise. Are you hiding something, human?" Then his eyes shifted. He saw Arya. He saw her new golden arms. And his smirk disappeared. "What is this?" he hissed. "You built her hands?" Arya stood up slowly. Her new arms gleamed like fire in the sun. She took one deep breath, and for the first time in her life, she did not feel afraid. Arya stood in the center of the workshop, her new golden arms glowing softly in the desert sunlight. The aliens who once mocked her now stared in shock, their faces twisted from confusion to fear, and then to anger. The lead alien, tall, silver-skinned, and wearing armor that flashed purple, stepped forward. "This is impossible," he growled. "You were useless before. A broken creature. A joke." Arya felt her chest tighten at his words, but only for a moment. She lifted one golden hand and curled her fingers into a firm fist. "I'm not a joke anymore," she said, her voice steady. Dane stood beside her, silent but watchful. His gaze flicked between Arya and the aliens, calculating possibilities, preparing for danger. The alien sneered. "So this is a human's idea of rebellion? Giving arms to freak." Arya's heartbeat slowed. She took a calm step forward, her first step toward them with her new limbs. "These arms don't make me human," she said. "They make me strong." The alien narrowed his eyes. "Strong? You think strength comes from shiny metal? You think you can challenge us?" Arya didn't answer. Instead, she lifted both arms and allowed the golden surfaces to catch the sunlight. The reflections brightened the entire workshop, creating a circle of warm light around her. For the first time, the aliens shielded their eyes. For the first time, they looked uncertain. The lead alien recovered quickly. He pointed at Arya with a sharp claw. "Grab her." Two aliens behind him moved forward. They were fast, much faster than humans, and their heavy steps rattled the metal floor. Dane whispered fast, "Arya, you're not ready for a fight. Your arms need more training." But Arya didn't move back. She stepped into the danger instead. Her instincts took over. She raised her left arm to block the first alien strike. The metal arm vibrated from the impact, but it did not break. The alien hissed in surprise. Her right arm swung forward without hesitation. She didn't punch hard, just enough to push him back. The alien stumbled. Arya gasped. She had pushed a full-grown alien off balance. Dane's eyes widened. "Arya, that was incredible." The second alien lunged, swinging a heavy weapon carved from bone. Arya ducked, and the weapon crashed into the wall behind her, sending sparks flying. Before she could think twice, Arya brought her golden arm upward and blocked the weapon's handle. Her mechanical fingers tightened around it. The alien tried to pull it free, but Arya held strong. "You let go!" he shouted, panicking as he pulled. Arya didn't let go. Instead, she twisted the weapon from his hands with surprising ease, sending him stumbling forward. The entire workshop went silent. Arya stood holding the alien's weapon, her golden arms glowing brighter than ever. The lead alien's smirk vanished. "What are you?" Arya's voice was soft but firm. Someone you should not underestimate. The aliens regrouped, clearly shaken. They whispered among themselves in their rough native language. Dane took Arya's arm gently and pulled her toward the back of the workshop. "You did amazing," he whispered. "But if they all charge at once, we won't win." Arya nodded slowly. "I know." A sudden deep horn echoed from outside. Another group of aliens approached from the sand dunes, more armored, more prepared. The lead alien smiled again, confidence returning. "Reinforcements," he said. "You can't stop us all." Arya felt fear crawl up her spine. She wasn't ready for this. Her arms were new. Her body was still adjusting. And there were too many of them. Dane placed a hand on her shoulder. "There's another option," he said. Arya looked at him desperately. "What option?" "We run." Arya blinked in confusion. "Run? But I thought humans fight back." Dane shook his head. "We fight when we have a chance. Right now, we don't." Arya clenched her fists, her golden arms humming faintly. "If we run, they will keep hunting us. Then we escape far enough that they stop," Dane said. "We find allies. We plan. And then—" Arya finished his sentence. "We fight smarter." He nodded. The back door of the workshop burst open from the force of the wind outside. The desert sun shone bright, revealing Dane's hidden escape machine, a rusted hovercraft covered with sand but still functional. The aliens began marching inside. There were seconds left. "Arya, go!" Dane shouted. Arya hesitated, staring at the aliens as they advanced. The lead alien lifted a heavy spear and pointed directly at her. "You cannot escape," he snarled. "You will always be the freak without hands." Arya lifted her golden arms, letting the sunlight flash off them like fire. "Not anymore," she said. She jumped into the hovercraft. Dane powered it up. The engines roared. As the aliens leaped forward to grab them, the hovercraft blasted into the desert, spraying a storm of sand behind it. The aliens screamed in anger as the craft sped away across the dunes. Arya looked back at them one last time. She wasn't running because she was weak. She was running because she had a future to build. Her new arms glowed warmly as the hovercraft raced into the horizon, and for the first time ever, she felt powerful. The hovercraft rushed across the dunes, leaving long trails of sand behind it as the angry shouts of the aliens faded into the distance. The sky was a deep, clear blue, and the sunlight bounced off Arya's golden arms, making them shine like molten metal. Arya sat beside Dane, holding on to the edge of the craft as the wind whipped through her hair. Her heart beat fast, not from fear, but from something new. Hope. Dane kept his eyes on the horizon. "We need to cross the desert of echoes before nightfall," he said. "If we stay out here after dark, the sand beasts will sense our movement." Arya's new fingers tightened around the metal handle. "Sand beasts?" "You'll see," Dane answered. "Or hopefully you won't." Arya looked back one last time. The alien patrol dots were shrinking far behind them. "Do you think they'll follow us?" "Absolutely," Dane said. "But not right away. They'll regroup first. And that buys us time." Arya nodded slowly. She still didn't feel used to her new arms. The weight, the hum, the soft vibration inside them, they were strange but comforting. She kept flexing her fingers, watching the joints move smoothly. "It feels like they belong to me," Arya whispered. "That's because they do," Dane replied. "They're part of you now." Arya looked down at them again. Even after everything, the fear, the teasing, the pain, she finally felt whole. But she also felt something else, a responsibility. After hours of traveling, the hovercraft slowed down. Dane pointed ahead. "We'll rest there." Arya saw a giant crater in the sand, shaped like a bowl with smooth, sloping sides. A strange blue mist hovered around its edges. "What is this place?" she asked. Dane parked the craft at the rim. "The Whisper Pit," he said. "It hides sound from above. If the aliens scan for us, they won't hear anything." Arya stepped down carefully into sand. Her new feet sank slightly, but her mechanical arms helped her balance easily. Dane scrambled down behind her, pulling a small backpack from the craft. They settled near a large rock inside the crater. For the first time since leaving the workshop, Arya felt safe. But safety didn't last long. A low, rumbling noise rolled across the sand. Arya froze. Dane, what was that? He didn't answer immediately. He looked around the crater, scanning the edges with squinting eyes. It's too early, he murmured. They shouldn't be out yet. Arya stood up slowly. What shouldn't be out? Before Dane could answer, the sand behind him shifted and rose, like something massive was moving just beneath the surface. Arya's eyes widened. Dane! He spun around just as a large creature emerged from the dune. Its body looked like a giant centipede made of stone and sand, with long spiked legs and a jaw that opened sideways. A sand beast. Dane stepped back. Stay behind me. But Arya moved forward instead. The creature hissed, its mouth stretching wide as grains of sand poured out between its teeth. It lunged at Arya with deadly speed. Before it could reach her, Arya lifted her golden arms and blocked the strike. The creature's jaw clamped onto her left arm, and sparks flew. Arya cried out not from pain, but from shock. It's biting me! Dane grabbed a metal rod from his bag and struck the creature's side. They sensed movement. Hit it again. Arya pushed against the creature with both arms. Her new limbs hummed loudly as they took the force. Her fingers dug into its rough surface, gripping the sand-coated shell. Her voice shook. I think I can hold it. Then hold it. Dane yelled. Arya tightened her grip. The mechanical systems inside her arms whirred faster, responding to her determination. She lifted the creature's head slightly, surprising even herself. Dane! She shouted. Now! Dane struck the beast again, this time with a full swing. The creature screeched and released Arya's arm. It pulled back, shaking its head angrily. Arya didn't wait. She dashed forward, faster than she had ever moved before, and slammed her golden fist into its side. The impact sent a deep crack through its shell. The sand beast shrieked and burrowed back in the ground, fleeing under the dunes. Silence returned. Arya stared at her glowing fists. I did that. Dane breathed heavily, staring at her like she had transformed into something new. Arya, you were incredible. Arya's hands trembled, not from fear, but from the sudden realization of what she was capable of. Her arms weren't just tools. They were power. But the danger wasn't over. Dane pointed toward the top of the crater. Dark shapes moved along the rim. Arya's stomach dropped. More sand beasts. No, Dane said. Worse. 6 alien warriors stood at the edge. Shimmering armor, glowing eyes, spears raised. The lead alien from before stepped forward. You can run, he said, his voice echoing down the crater. But you cannot hide. Arya stepped in front of Dane, her glowing arms raised. This time, she didn't feel fear. She felt ready. The alien sneered. Your new hands won't save you. Arya lifted her chin. I don't need them to save me. She clenched her glowing fists. I'll save myself. The 6 alien warriors stood at the top of the crater like dark shadows against the bright sky. Their armor shimmered with purple lines of energy, and each carried a weapon sharp enough to cut through stone. When the lead alien stepped forward, the sunlight hit his silver skin, making him look like a cold statue. Arya, he called out, you cannot win. You were born weak. You were made weak. Arya's golden arms vibrated softly, responding to her rising heartbeat. She took one steady step forward, placing herself between Dane and the aliens. Maybe I was, Arya said, but I'm not weak anymore. The lead alien hissed a laugh. You think metal can change who you are? You think a human's toy can turn you into a fighter? Arya raised her chin. No, the arms didn't change who I am. They only showed me who I can be. The alien's eyes narrowed. Dane leaned close and whispered, Arya, don't fight all of them. We need a plan. Arya whispered back, we don't have time. One of the aliens jumped down the crater wall, sliding toward them with a spear pointed forward. He moved fast, too fast for a normal person to react. Arya wasn't normal anymore. Her arms surged with power as she swung one forward, her fist at the ground in front of her, sending a spray of sand upward. The alien warrior crashed into the sand cloud. Blinded, Arya spun and struck him across the chest with her golden forearm. The hit was so strong that the alien flew backward and slammed into the crater wall. Dane stared in disbelief. Arya, your strength, it's increasing. Arya didn't have time to answer. Another alien leaped down. This one landed silently, his spear glowing bright blue. He thrust forward, aiming for Arya's heart. Arya's arms moved before her mind even caught up. Her right arm shot out, blocking the spear. Sparks exploded where metal met energy. The alien pushed hard. Your arms, they resist energy weapons? Arya pushed back harder. They're made to protect me. The alien lost his balance, and Arya twisted the spear out of his hands. She snapped it across her knee, the metal bending like thin wood. Dane shouted, "Behind you." Arya spun around just in time to duck under a swinging blade. A third alien attacked her with a curved weapon. He swung again, faster. Arya blocked each hit with her glowing arms, sparks flying with every clash. The alien snarled, "You fight like a machine." Arya pushed him back. "I fight like myself." She kicked upward, striking his chin. The alien fell backward, rolling down the sand. 3 aliens defeated. 3 more to go. The lead alien shouted to remaining warriors, "Stop playing with her. End this." The last 3 aliens slid down into the crater together, forming a tight formation, their spears aligned, their armor glowing brighter. These were elite fighters. Dane grabbed Arya's arm. "We have to escape. Now. We can't take all 3. Arya shook her head. "If we run, they'll chase us forever." Arya, "No," she said firmly. "We end it here." The aliens charged. Arya planted her feet in the sand. Her golden arms hummed, glowing brighter than ever. The first alien swung at her. She dodged. The second aimed a spear at Dane. Arya blocked it with her left arm. Sparks sprang across the sand. The third slammed his shoulder into her, sending her sliding backward. Sand flew into the air. Arya hit a rock, but she stood up quickly, shaking off the impact. The 3 aliens circled her. "You can't fight all of us," one growled. Arya's eyes hardened. "Yes, I can." The 3 warriors attacked at once. Arya threw her arms up, blocking 2 spears at once. The third alien swung at her side, but Arya twisted and slammed her elbow into his chest. Her strike dented his armor and sent him flying. The remaining 2 aliens tried to corner her. Arya grabbed one spear, yanked it forward, and pulled the alien off balance. She punched him in the stomach, knocking the air from his lungs. The last alien leapt high into the air, aiming a deadly strike at her head. Arya took a breath. She drove her glowing fist upward. Her punch met his chest in midair. The alien flew backward and hit the sand with a heavy thud. Silence fell over the crater. All 6 aliens were on the ground, groaning, stunned, defeated. Arya stood tall in the center, her golden arms shining like 2 beams of sunlight. Dane approached slowly, almost afraid to touch her. "Arya, I've never seen anything like that." "You!" Arya's knees suddenly weakened. Dane caught her. "Hey, are you okay?" Arya breathed heavily. "I'm fine. I just used too much power." Her arms flickered dimly for a moment. Dane frowned. "They overheated. You pushed them beyond the safe limit." Arya tried to stand, but dizziness hit her. At the top of the crater, the lead alien was still standing, watching, furious. He wasn't defeated. "Not yet." He raised his weapon high and shouted, "You think this is over, freak? This is just the beginning. I will hunt you until the ends of this world." Arya lifted her head weakly, and even though she could barely stand, her voice was steady. "Then I'll be ready." The lead alien snarled and disappeared into the desert. Arya collapsed into Dane's arms as the sun began to set. Dane whispered, "We have to get you somewhere safe, somewhere your arms can recharge." Arya nodded weakly. "Where do we go?" Dane looked toward the distant mountains. "To the human outpost," he said, "where your Real journey begins." The sun was sinking behind the red mountains when Dane helped Arya back into the hovercraft. Her golden arms were dimmer now, their glow weak and fading. Every few moments, a soft clicking sound came from inside them, like the mechanisms were struggling to keep up. Dane tightened the straps around her seat. "Don't push yourself," he said. "Your arms need time. If you try to fight again right now, they might shut down." Arya leaned back, breathing slowly. Her body felt heavy, but her eyes remained sharp. "I'm okay," she whispered. "Just tired." Dane started the hovercraft. The engines groaned, then lifted them into the air. The crater grew smaller behind them as they sped across the sand. "This is a long stretch," Dane said. "Once we reach the human outpost, they'll help repair your arms, and we can warn them about the aliens." Arya closed her eyes. "Do you think they'll help me? I'm not human." Dane looked at her, his expression soft. "You're brave. That's what matters. Anyone who sees what you did today will want you on their side." Arya blinked at him, unsure how to react. She wasn't used to kindness. She wasn't used to being valued. But something inside her warmed. Hours passed. The desert wind grew colder as night approached. The hovercraft lights flickered on, shining across the dunes. The stars began appearing one by one, filling the dark sky like scattered diamonds. But the calm didn't last. A loud alarm beeped from the dashboard. Dane frowned. "No, no, no, no." Arya sat up. "What's wrong?" "They're tracking us," Dane said. "The aliens planted a signal booster in the crater. They used your fight as a distraction." Arya's chest tightened. "They're coming." Dane looked at the radar screen. 3 fast-moving blips were closing in. "Yes, and they're flying." Arya's eyes widened. "Flying? I thought they only had ground scouts." "Not anymore," Dane said. "They're sending hunters. The high-rank ones." A shrill roar echoed behind them, like metal scraping the sky. Arya turned and saw them. 3 alien skimmers, thin, sharp aircraft shaped like blades, raced across the dunes, glowing with violet fire. "They found us," Arya whispered. Dane pushed the hovercraft faster. "Hold on." The craft shook violently as they climbed over a dune. Lasers blasted through the air, leaving trails of purple light. Sand exploded behind them as shots hit the ground. "They're getting closer," Arya shouted. Dane gritted his teeth. "I know." Another blast hit the side of the hovercraft. The vehicle jerked violently, almost flipping. Arya grabbed the edge with her golden hands, her grip firm despite her weakness. "Dane, your controls," she cried. Dane steadied the craft. "We're fine. We just have to reach the canyon. If we get inside, their skimmers won't fit." Arya looked ahead. The dark outline of the canyon entrance appeared between 2 rocky hills, narrow and winding. "We can make it," Arya said. But the aliens were faster. A skimmer swooped low, flying parallel to them. The pilot, a tall alien with glowing purple eyes, pointed a weapon directly at Arya. His voice blasted through a speaker. "Freak! You should have stayed broken." Arya stared at him, her fear fading into a cold fire. She lifted her golden arm and held it steady. "I'm not broken." The alien smirked. "You will be." He fired. A bright purple blast shot toward her. Arya moved faster than she thought she could. Her golden arm came up just in time, blocking the blast. The energy exploded, lighting her arm with a burning glow. The impact shook her entire body. Her arm flickered again, weak, unstable. Dane shouted, "Arya, don't block another shot. You can't take it." Arya's breath trembled. "I had to." The skimmer fired again, this time aiming for Dane. Arya reacted instantly. She threw her whole body across him, her arms shielding him from the blast. The shock hit her again, knocking her back into her seat. Her arms dimmed dangerously. Dane grabbed her shoulders. "Arya, stop. You're going to shut them down completely." Arya opened her mouth to answer, but another roar filled the sky. The canyon entrance was right ahead. Almost there. Dane yelled. The hovercraft dove into the narrow canyon. The walls were so tight that the skimmers couldn't follow. They had to slow down, searching for another route. Arya sagged in her seat, exhausted. "We made it." But Dane shook his head. "Not yet. There's a problem." Arya looked forward. Her heart froze. A massive rock slide blocked the canyon's exit. Huge boulders sealed the path completely. "We can't go through," Dane said, "and the skimmers will circle around to cut us off." Arya stared at the boulders. A thought crossed her mind. A dangerous one. "I can move them," she said. Dane spun toward her. "Arya, no. You saw your arms. They're overheating. If you push them any more, they could shut down. Permanently." Arya looked at him firmly. "If we stay here, we die. If I try, we might live." Dane swallowed hard. It could destroy the arms. Arya touched his hand with her golden fingers. "Then I'll use what's left of them to save us." She stood and stepped out of the hovercraft. The boulders were massive, bigger than anything she had ever touched. Her arms glowed weakly, but they still listened to her thoughts. She placed both hands on the largest rock. Her voice was soft. "I won't be helpless again." She began to push. Her arms heated. Sparks crackled inside them. The hum grew louder. The rock trembled. Arya pushed harder. The alien screamed from behind the canyon. Dane shouted, "Arya, they're coming." But Arya didn't stop. She pushed so hard that the sand shook around her. The rock moved, just a little, then more. Her arms sparked violently. Dane shouted her name. Arya screamed from effort, and the giant boulder finally rolled aside. But as soon as the path opened, Arya's golden arms shut down, the light dying instantly. She fell to her knees. Dane ran to her as the skimmers roared overhead. "Arya, Arya." Her voice was barely a whisper. "Go, finish it." And then her arms went completely dark. The hall of the Galactic Assembly had never been this crowded. Thousands of delegates filled the circular arena, their metallic seats rising in tall layers around the center stage. Bright white lights poured down from the ceiling, making the whole place feel like the inside of a star. Every species, from the smallest dust-winged creatures to the towering stone-skinned giants, had come for one reason. They wanted to see the human girl with the arms she built herself. Lyra stood behind the curtain, breathing slowly. Her new arms moved with perfect calm, even though her heart felt like it was trying to punch its way out of her chest. Beside her stood Captain Arden, relaxed but alert, like always. And to her left, Nara nervously wrung her hands. "You don't have to go out there if you don't want to," Nara whispered. Lyra smiled. "I do. I've been waiting for this moment." Arden placed a hand on her shoulder. "You're not the same girl they mocked. Today, they learn who you really are." The announcer's voice boomed across the hall. "Presenting Lyra of Sol, human engineer and recipient of the Galactic Honor of Innovation." A wave of gasps rippled through the crowd. Some in the audience whispered. Some leaned forward. Many simply stared at the open stage. Waiting, Lyra took a breath and walked out into the light. Her mechanical arms gleamed, polished and strong. They moved smoothly, the joints glowing with soft white light. For the first time in her life, she didn't hide them. She wanted everyone to see. She stepped to the center of the stage. The hall fell completely silent. Then the murmurs began. "Is that the no-hands girl? She built those arms herself? Incredible, look at the precision. Humans, always surprising." But Lyra wasn't afraid anymore. Not of their stares. Not of their whispers. She had lived through worse. She raised one arm carefully, letting the fingers open and close. "Greetings," she said, her voice steady. "I am Lyra. And yes, I built these." A wave of applause rolled across the hall. Some delegates stood up straight in shock. Others clapped with fierce admiration. Then the moment shifted. From afar into the arena, a group of aliens rose from their seats, the same ones who had mocked her months ago, the same ones who had laughed at her in the factory, calling her no-hands freak. Their leader, a tall, sharp-faced alien named Vorton, looked furious. "This is an outrage," he shouted. "She is an abomination of metal and bone. Those arms violate crafting purity laws." A low rumble swept through the crowd. But Lyra did not flinch. She stepped forward. "My arms violate nothing. I did not replace them to break rules. I replaced them because I wanted to live, and I wanted to prove what humans can do." Vorton snarled. Humans should not be allowed to modify themselves so freely. Captain Arden finally spoke. If you had helped her instead of mocking her, she would never have needed to prove herself to you. The room erupted with mixed reactions. Some applause, some anger, some muttering. Nara surprised them all by stepping onto the stage. "Enough," she said loudly. The crowd quieted. She looked straight at Vorton. "You called her a freak. You laughed when she fell. You pointed at her like she was nothing. But she built something you could never build. Instead of being proud, you are jealous." Gasps echoed. Even Arden raised an eyebrow. Vorton's eyes widened. "Jealous? I am." Lyra cut him off gently. "This is not about anger, Vorton. It's about fear. You fear what humans can create. You fear that your people will look to us for ideas. You fear that a girl with no hands reached higher than you." The assembly held its breath. Vorton tried to speak, but the words died in his throat. Finally, the High Chancellor of the Assembly rose from her seat. Her long silver robe shimmered as she stepped forward. "Lyra of Soul," she said, "you are not an abomination. You are a symbol of courage, creativity, and the power of the human spirit. You have shown us what HFY truly means." She raised her hand. "Let it be known to all races here today. Mockery will never defeat innovation. Cruelty will never crush hope. And fear will never silence progress." The hall exploded into applause. Loud, thunderous, endless applause. Lyra felt her eyes fill with tears. Not because she was sad, but because she finally felt seen, not as the girl without hands, not as the girl others laughed at, but as the girl who built her future. She turned to Nara and Arden. "We did it," she whispered. "No," Arden said, smiling proudly. "You did it." Nara nodded. And the whole galaxy just watched. Lyra lifted her mechanical arms, and the light caught them perfectly. The crowd cheered louder. She felt energy race through her, like she could build anything, change anything, become anything. For the first time in her life, she knew exactly who she was. A human, a builder, a survivor, and no one would mock her ever again.